Yo, 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 amazing people. Welcome to this very special episode, which is called How I Closed My First Deal Without a Product, or without having a product ready, or without having a product already fully clear in my head. And I'm so excited for this episode because we just finished a very powerful day number 3, the business building day, and it was just so incredible. Our participants are absolutely off the chart with amazingness, and I'm just so excited. So, welcome to this episode. I can't wait to share all of this goodness with you guys. Hello, hello, everybody. Do let me know where you guys are tuning. Oh, sorry. Hello, hello. I was talking, but I was still behind the scene. So, hello, hello, everybody. Do let me know where you guys are tuning in from. If you're part of Project 1 Million in 1 year, then comment below and say P1M. If you are completely new to the channel, whether you're Project 1 Million or not Project 1 Million, then I do want to let you guys know to please go and click on the subscribe button because I'm making my videos every single day, putting things out here to really make sure that we can inspire and help as many people as possible to create a freedom lifestyle for themselves. And I'm just so excited because what we're about to share with you guys today is something that completely transformed my life and allowed there to be so much clarity about how business is done. So I'm just going to dive into the story, and it's just like basically my first sale. Now, this is not actually my first sale because this was the first sale for my own business, my own product, my own thing that I was creating. But it was very funny because it basically all started in the year 2016. Is it 2016? Yeah, 2016. When I just went into business, and it was really, really cool. Hello, Tommy. So nice to have you with us. It was really cool because I was like really, really crazy. I was really enthusiastic, and I was just like on the edge of my seat every single day because I was so eager when I wanted to start to build my business, because I wanted to change my life and I wanted to be able to give back to my family. I want to be able to give back to people that really needed the help, people that are absolutely incredible but just don't have the means or didn't have the capabilities to be able to face their challenges in an easy manner. And so I was just so moved by the work that my parents have always done to be able to just support people and make a difference to people and help people, whether that's financially, whether that's with advice, whether that was in a structural mentorship type of way. And it really laid the foundation for me to be like, okay, I want to do something in my life that is helping people. And when I was actually in my PhD in astrophysics, I didn't feel, as much as I'm super grateful for it and as much as I'm very grateful and always will be to my professors that believed in me and helped me and allowed me to experience a lot of these very, very incredible things, it was not making me feel fulfilled. And I very much felt like I wanted to be able to do something with which I can really give back. But I also wanted to do that at the same time in a way that it was going to be structural change. So early on, I already realized that I got to get good at the money game. And it doesn't mean that you cannot do good without money, because you absolutely can. Write that down as well. You can do good right now in every single moment. But I also understood is if I really wanted to be able to help people, like what we are doing right now, we're running events, we're doing all of these things. We have an entire team. We are marketing these events so that people can transform their lives. There's a lot of money, there's a lot of manpower, a lot of things behind the scenes to keep that running and to make that possible. That if you are not having the money game, the impact that we get to make at each of these events, it wouldn't be to the same degree, or we wouldn't be able to do that much impact if we weren't also having the money. So I knew from an early age onwards, or early age in the business, let's say. Hey, Blago Vesta. Hey, Marcena. So nice to have you here. Super nice. That I want to get good at the money game. So you guys who are watching this live or replay, let me know if you want to get good at the money game. Comment below and say I want to get good at the money game. So I started, and I basically took a leap of faith. I found the money because I didn't have the money. I invested. I borrowed from my parents, borrowed from the bank, and I invested in myself. And when I started, I kept momentum. This is a very important thing because I didn't just take action. I made sure that I kept momentum, that every single day I kept building towards this future that I couldn't clearly see in all the details, but I felt it in my heart. So I kept going, I kept going, kept going. And so I was very coachable. I really listened to my mentor and I went all in with everything that I did. So the first thing was I learned marketing and sales. And in doing so, I wasn't selling my own product, I was selling my mentor's product. And I was really realizing that what he was doing with his products was really making a big difference on people. And I didn't have my own product yet. So it's just like, okay, cool, let's do all of this type of stuff. But at a certain point in time, he basically said to me, like, okay, so keep growing in the space, keep learning all of these different things, learn more about marketing and this and that and the other. So it was actually a really weird story, but again, I'm just going to share this story because it's just so funny to a certain degree, but it's going to hopefully give you guys a lot of insight. So it's like, it's a crazy situation. But okay, I was in this thing, and I was learning how to do all the business stuff, and I was really starting to get massive results. We were starting to, like, I became the CEO of the company of my mentor, and we started to grow our team, and I started to train the team, and I was learning all these things about business, marketing, whatever. So at a certain point in time, my mentor also said to me, like, hey, you're being so effective in training our team, like, more people can benefit from this. You should actually do something with that, and learn more about this stuff, and find a way to share it with the world. And so I was like, okay, challenge accepted. But I was a little bit annoying because I was just like, oh man, it couldn't go fast enough for me. Is there anybody that can resonate with that you're really like, oh my goodness, I'm just so eager, I'm excited, I want to go. So I basically invested in myself again, and it was kind of like I kept investing in myself, lots of different things, lots of different learnings. And I was this, at some point, it was like this collaboration type of situation where we got into, and I had the opportunity to learn from an incredible company called Digital Marketer. And I started to learn a lot of their stuff, and it was some sort of thing like we were doing amazing things, and then we got a lot of that knowledge in exchange for, like, with some really influential and powerful, amazing people. So I started to learn all of this stuff from digital marketing. But it was at that point, somewhere in April, was it in April? Was it in May? Like somewhere April, May, like this period, but then 9 years ago, that I was going back finally, because for those of you who know the story, not only did I quit my job, not only did I invest in myself, I also moved countries. So I moved from the Netherlands to the UK for the first time in my life, and it was just like living in a different country. And started working in that company of my mentor, and I became the CEO, and that's where we are right now. So that was the first moment when I finally came back home and had a little vacation, family time, 2.5 weeks. But I just had that opportunity to learn this new material. So a lot of people at that point will be like, well, if you do that, then sorry, if you go to have your family time, then how can you be learning? And a lot of people would let that take them out of the game and say, okay, I'll do the learning later. But I was like, no, I'm going to keep momentum, I'm going to do this. If there's a will, there's a way. So I was like, okay, during the day I'm having family time, during the night I'm going to study. So this was where the whole crazy, like, Tjibaria never sleeps type of situation started. And I started to, like, having family time during the day, and it was like in the nighttime I started learning, and it was so amazing. And okay, like, ladies and gentlemen, that was the moment when I learned about the lead magnets, about no-brainer offers, about all of these different things. The terminology was perhaps a little bit different, but I learned, like, these concepts for the first time, and I learned about the power of the funnel, the power of digital marketing, all of that stuff. And I was like, this stuff is so good. So even though sometimes I was a little bit tired, it's like, I can't get enough of this stuff, I want to learn more and more and more. And I was messaging back and forth with Master Akash to say, like, oh my goodness, this stuff is so good, I can't wait to implement this, I want to implement that. And at a certain point in time, I said back to him, like, I think our students can really benefit from this, we should teach that to them. And he's like, you know what, we're running this event when you come back from your holiday. It's going to happen somewhere in May time, I think it was May time. And then why don't you just go on stage and teach this stuff? And I was like, okay. So I said, yes, Yes. Because as they say yes and figure it out later. So I already commented below as well. Say yes and figure it out later. So I said yes. So I was like, okay, cool. So I was already at that time, like maybe sleeping 5 hours per day. But now I had to prepare a presentation, a 90-minute presentation in front of our top mentees, our amazing clients that invested thousands, like tens of thousands of pounds to be part of our mentorship. And I was going to go and present the stuff that I just learned. So I was like, okay, cool. Let's reduce this time of sleep to 4 hours. And by no means is this a thing that I would recommend you guys to do. Like, don't do that. But it was just interesting because it was all brand new to me, but it was so good that I was like, hey, yeah, I need to share this. This is so amazing information. So I reduced my sleep to 4 hours per day. So I was not only learning this stuff, I was basically making a presentation. Now, then came the end of the holiday. I had the most amazing time with my family, and I flew back to the UK. And it was on a Sunday, and I came back into the office. And yes, we are in the office on a Sunday. So we came back to the office. The team was there. And it's like, hey, you're back. Yes, I'm back. Excited. Blah, 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 blah. It was very much fun. And it was the week after that we were going to run that event. And that was the event Master the Stage. And we were running a big event in London for our students. And it was going to start on the Wednesday and it will run for 5 days all the way until Sunday. And my speech was going to be on the third day, the Friday. So I was like, okay, cool. I still have some good time. It's Sunday. I can still go and prepare because I wasn't finished. But I came into the office and Master Sharkashan was sitting by the meeting table. I was like, why don't you just present it to us? And I was like, I wasn't ready. But I said, yes. Okay. So remember, say yes, figure it out later. So I stood up and I was like, okay, all brave and all. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna, kind of wing it. I'm just gonna go present what I know. I'm gonna be very confident and I'm just gonna, wing it basically. So I stood up, and the cool thing is that this is one thing that I want you guys to know as well, is that when you have some information and you know it, and not only do you know it, but you kind of really deeply understand it, there's a lot of power in having that like within you, because you ultimately are the product. Like, even if I may not have every single thing worked out and single thing written down, I did understand what I was learning, and I started to implement it straight away the moment that I was learning it, because I was so excited. So at that moment, I may feel like I've not got every single thing for my presentation ready. The material was already becoming part of me. And that's just a quick thing that I just want to share, because everyone watching this right now, or everybody part of Project 1 Million 1 Year, when we were designing the business today, you may have still got some parts that you're not entirely clear about. You may be still some points, some details that you have to fill out. But the most important thing is that you are the business. So the information, the knowledge, the value is ultimately you. And I didn't realize that at that point, but I stood up and I was doing it anyway. So I was explaining it. Half an hour in, my mentor, Master Sharkashan, said, okay, enough, stop. I was like, oh my goodness, was it that bad? And then he said, you should sell your course. And I was like, my course? And I was obviously super convinced. I don't have a course. So I was a little bit confused. I was like, Goku's course? Goku wasn't there yet. But I was looking behind me. There was no one behind me. It was like, me? And they said, yeah, you should sell your course. But I was really flabbergasted because I didn't have a course. It's like, did I miss the memo or something? And I said, I don't know, but I don't have a course. And then he said, sure you do. Yes. And then he basically said, well, didn't you just present the last half hour all of these incredible things about the marketing, about the funnel, the this, the that, the other? It's like, yes, I did do that. I said, well, then you have a course. He says, because you got that information here. And if you have that information here, all you got to do is just write down a little bit of a description and understand, okay, this is what I'm going to teach, this, and basically like make an outline of it. But you are the material. You are the course. And I was like, okay. But it was obviously not created. I didn't make that outline yet. Nothing at all was in place. So they said, okay, this is what you're going to do. You're going to go to the do your speech on Friday, and you're going to sell your course. I was like, what? But I surely am not going to create the course by Friday. I'm still needing to prepare everything and whatnot. So no, that's not what you're going to do. He says, sell it first. Write that down. He says, you're going to sell it first and create it later. And this was a huge eye-opener for me. And I think it will be a huge eye-opener for many people that will be watching this video, whether it's live or on the replay. And it's such a crazy thing these days that, in a sense, that I think it's crazy that not everyone does this. And to think about it, and I share this in the description, is that actually all good companies, like the big companies, they do something like this. Because here's what most people do. Most people, they go out and create an idea. Then they go and create, let's say, the course. They go and no, wait, there's one step in before that. They're not going to first create the course. They're going to first buy the lamp. Then they're going to buy the camera. Then they're going to buy the mic. And when that is in place, then say, okay, now I can create a course. And then they start making it. Then you have to film it. And they go through all of that effort and spend all of that money and do all of these other things. And then there are a couple of months later, because they procrastinate in the meantime as well. And then 5 months later, when they finally start speaking to the first few people, then they realize that nobody wants that darn course because they didn't test the market. And that's what I want you guys to write down. Test the market first. And the sell it first strategy allows for that. And so that was the first moment that I learned it. So he says, yeah, you're gonna go and sell your course. So I said, yes. I had no clue how I was gonna do it, but I just say yes and figure it out later. So I said yes. So at that moment, my sleep was reduced from 5 to 4 to 3 hours per day. But, I went with it. So I started to go and not only create the rest of my presentation, practice the rest of my presentation, but this time it wasn't just a normal presentation. It was also a close that I had to prepare. And I had to obviously have an outline of what the course was going to be so that I can finally pre-sell it. Okay, cool. Now, then I went about doing all of that. I'm actually going to give you guys a little template for anybody. And let me know in the chat box, actually, if anybody would like to ever do a pre-sale, because it's so useful. It's like I said this before, it is crazy that not every business does this, because this is the most beautiful way for you to get feedback, for you to figure out what does the market actually want before you spend all the time, effort, money, blood, sweat, tears, and all of that stuff, and only to figure out that nobody actually wants what you have. So you're going to test the market. And when you notice, yes, the market wants it, then you go and create it. And you can do this in a beautiful, ethical, powerful way. So comment below if you are going to apply this and if you too want to learn how to do the pre-selling. And I see Vanessa says yes. Let me just overlay again. And I want to give a few shout outs before I'm going to go into all of this as well. So I want to say shout out to Blago Festa, to Tommy, to Marcena, Vanessa. Did I share all of your names? There's also a few hidden people. Hello too. All right, cool. So I'm gonna give you guys this template. Yeah. So let me go. So there's a few things that you need when you do a pre-sale. The first thing, and let me actually see if I can share my screen, and then I can just actually step by step write it down for you guys, so you have an idea of how to do it. Let me see if I can. Because if there's a will, there's a way. And I want you guys to understand what I'm going to say. Hey, that rhymes. That rhymes. Just like Rick Grimes. Oh, I'm such a crazy person. All right, cool. You guys can see my note over here? All right, so pre-sale. The pre-sale. So what's the strategy? So obviously, you got to have a little outline of what it is that you're going to be offering. So you got to know, so what's the preparation? The preparation is that you know what is the outline and the details sort of what you're going to be creating. You don't have to know all the details, but you just want to know, like, what is it that you're offering? So what is this course? Let's just say we're going to talk about the course. What is the course design? So the outline. So the design outline, let's just say outline is a better word, actually. So course outline. And effectively, everybody that was there on day number 3 of Project 1 Million, you guys have the outline, because you have your tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and then from your tier 1, you know what is your A, your B, and your C. So the fact that you have that, maybe you want to apply like one more level to the outline, where you're also going to create like your 7-point journey sort of thing. So I know what is your A, your B, and your C. And if anybody's watching this and you're not part of Project 1 Million, you might think like, oh, I'm not so sure what these things mean yet, but you'll figure it out if you're part of Project 1 Million. Or if the students are as kind as they always are, maybe comment below and say what the A, the B, and the C mean. But you have your ABC part, right? And then you maybe just want to say, okay, what is going to be that 7-point journey? And what does that mean? It's basically your A to B journey. And you can break it down in 7 modules or 7 weeks or 7 steps. And why do I say 7? For no real particular reason other than the fact that 7 is usually a really great number when it comes to retention as well as impact. So when we do our programs, a lot of the time we do 7-week programs, because in that it is the right amount of time for people to really start cultivating these things, besides the fact that they have lifetime access to all of our machinery. But it's also really beneficial in the sense that it helps people to stay committed and stay there and be part of it still. I'm just trying to work out with the sizes of things. Oh, wow. It's not getting any better. I'm just going to say with this size. Okay, cool. So that's one part. So what could that be? Imagine this. Imagine if I say, okay, I am helping people to grow their businesses. So what is the A? The A is the start point, wherever they start. So the start is, let's say, broke, not British, broke, or the start is stuck. They have a broke, meaning that maybe they don't have a business and they have no idea where to start. The other thing could be that they're stuck. They do have a business, but they're not making enough money. Or it could be that they have a good business, but they need scaling. So they are having question marks in regards to how do I actually scale the business. So you figure out like what's their A point, the starting point where people go from, and then what's the end point. The end point is that they have a clear roadmap and a clear support, clear structure, whatever, all of these things to basically be able to build, and in the process of walking through the steps are building a freedom lifestyle business empire. So that's our situation, right? So this is what we do with our clients. So this is the B. This is where we want to get them to. So we want to get them from A, we want to get them to B. So then what is that 7-point step that I want you guys to start thinking about as well? It doesn't have to be 7, but you just want to figure out like what are the steps kind of that you want people to get clarity about. So typically, if you do that 7-point journey, you're going to have something that starts with the vision. Like what is the vision? What is the future? What is the goal? What is the target that a person wants to reach? You want to usually start with figuring out what is that. And then what we do in business is we reverse engineer that target. We really figure out, okay, what's that empire going to be? And that's typically where we start the journey off, so that people have clarity. This is where I want to go. This is why it matters to me. This is how I want to do it. And then they know, okay, this is what's going to fuel me. They get their why from it. Then next is basically starting with the most important part. So in our case, it is visibility. So visibility and branding is really the next thing that we take our clients to, because if you know how to brand yourself, or you know how to be visible, how to add value to people, then that is ultimately going to attract the clients, and that's how you're going to again be able to make money. So then from here, we go on straight away to sales, because we want people to be able, after just 3 steps, to be able to know, okay, this is what I'm going to do. So the sales distinguishes itself in a couple of different areas. So it could be that it is like, okay, figuring out what is my product. That's one part of it. So product, figuring out what are your offers and that sort of stuff. The other part is the conversations. The other part is actually the closing. And then there's a part of, how to do the other side of it, which is delivering, over delivering, continuing the powerful relationship, holding your students accountable, like that sort of stuff. So at the end of the day, then that could be like the end part of this whole sales situation. And then after that, what is more important, or what's important next to that, is the scaling of it. So we're going to be scaling part 1, where you said, how do I increase my reach, which is typically what we do with the Lead Generation Academy, and then scaling by means of automation, by means of by delegation, creating a team, building a real company, that sort of stuff. So this could be the 7 points that you then say, okay, so this is where I want my clients to go through. This is one example. Obviously, now I've just written down 7 terms. Like I haven't actually wrote down what the material is going to be. I haven't, put down all of the subtopics that are in there. I've just figured out that if I want to get my client from A to B, what are then the things that are necessary? What do I need to talk about? So one of the strategies that I learned actually from Master Akashna is that the simplest way to be able to get this on a piece of paper is you just write down all the topics that you know are going to be important. And then you want to shuffle them and then figure out and then group them and then put them in modules. And that's it. That's your course design done. And this can literally be performed in half an hour. So what I want to say again to all of our Project 1 Million people is that don't overthink this part. Just write down what are typically the topics that I need to help someone through. For instance, if I'm a fitness coach, what are the things that are going to be necessary when I do that? So let me just write that down. Well, the first point is very much the same. I want to make sure that the client has a clear vision and a clear goal, what they want to achieve in their fitness journey, in their health journey, right? So that's the first thing. Then I'm probably going to talk about exercises because the client needs to know what kind of exercises to do. What is next? Nutrition, right? This is basically a very similar thing as the splintering that we just discussed as well. Oh, exercise. Exercise, nutrition. Okay, cool. What else? Mindset is super important because if you don't have the mindset, you're not going to do anything. What else? The power of support. Now, what else? There could be probably other parts that you add to it. Maybe in the exercises, you're gonna distinguish between different types of exercises, or you're maybe also going to look at the person's habits. You're probably also going to be able to see like what are they currently doing, what is holding them back. So you may be thinking about limiting beliefs. How can you replace them? Habits that are not working out for them, how can you replace them? So what you'll actually notice is that if you're looking to transform people, there are so many things that is common between different types of knowledge-based products. Like the vision is always there. Some of the understanding of what is holding them back in their mindset is always going to be there. The habits part of it is always going to be there. Even in business, like what are you currently focusing on? Most people are focusing on non-income producing activities, whereas 90% of your time should be focused on income producing activities, marketing and sales. So this part is very simple. So you just figure out where do they start, typically not fit, not at the result that they want yet. Where do they want you want them to go, that they are in a position to get the results that they so desire. And in the process of implementing it, they can actually already get to those results. This is a 30-minute job. So then you have the course outline. So once that is done, course outline done. Then you just want to know, okay, what is the price going to be? So when I sell it, what am I going to sell it at? And then you want to have the launch date. That's it. So what I basically said, okay, when I'm making my course, I have this as an outline. I put down 7 steps, what I'm going to cover in that. Then I wrote down, well, when I'm launching it, I was very familiar to the price point, 6,997. For those of you who are also familiar with that, 6,997 was the price to go for. So 6,997. And the launch date, I believe I set at that time, what was it? I can't remember. Like my dates are a little bit mixed up. I thought I was doing this whole thing in May, but I very much remember that my launch date was the 30th of October. So maybe all of this took place in the September months. Can't remember, but 30th of October, I remember was my date. So you never forget these things as well. This was crazy. Not 2020. It was 2016. This was it, right? October. Yeah. So that was my thing. I had my course outline. I had my price. I had my launch date. That's all you need. Now then comes the actual presentation. So this is what I did. I went on that stage. There we go. I actually fell asleep on stage the night before because I was preparing for it. But here you go. I went onto the stage and I started speaking. Blah, 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 blah. Talking, explaining. I had the crowd be part of exercises. Everybody was learning. Awesome. Engagement. Yes, people were learning, growing. Perfect. Then came the end part, the pitch. So at the end, I asked, hey, how many of you guys have learned something? Raise your hand nice and high. Yeah, they've learned something. How many of you would like to learn more? Raise your hand. Yes. Oh, okay, awesome. Let me share something with you. I am, and here's the pitch. And this is maybe like the softened version of the pitch. This is not like the perfect type of pitch, but I just want you guys to see like the structure of it, the format of it. And this is not by no means like the actual way how to do it, but that you just understand like what are the things to mention. So I basically say like, okay, so number 1, I am launching a course. And I very much have enjoyed working with you guys in the capacity of this speech. And I would love to be able to continue working with you guys. I would love to see how I could help you further. So would it be okay if I'm going to share something with you that is very close to my heart and I've been working very hard on, that I know you guys are going to love and that I know is going to absolutely help you forward? Is that okay? So that's basically asking for permission to close. Now, I don't necessarily always do that, but it's a very well-known construct in platform closing. So is it okay if I'm going to share with you guys something? Then everybody's like, yes, that's okay. Okay, perfect. So the thing, and now you want to be very structured in your approach of sharing what you're going to offer. So you're going to put it back to those 3 things that I shared with you. So ladies and gentlemen, the thing that I am going to be launching, it is called, so you want to have the name then. You don't want to put the whole outline there, but in the pitch, this is your preparation. And then in the pitch, you want to basically say, okay, number one, you want to have the name of the thing. What's the name of the course? You want to obviously share like what they're going to learn in that in a couple of steps or in a couple of sentences. You want to say the price of when it actually is going to sell, but actually prior to that, you want to say when it is going to launch. All right. So in this follow order. So this is the name. This is what it does, and it's going to launch at this and this date. And when it launches, this is going to be the investment. Yeah. So keep that in mind. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So I said, okay, ladies and gentlemen. So I've been working on something, and it's very close to my heart. I'm so excited, and I know you guys are going to love it. So the thing that I am launching is a course, and the name is PPM. And I don't know what I was thinking, but I thought that was a sexy name. So PPM stood for Passive Profit Maximizer. Whoa! I thought that was a cool name. Let me know your comments on the name if you think that name is cool or if you think that name is extremely dorky, which is what I think right now. Oh my gosh, guys. So I'm spilling my coffee right now. Passive Profit Maximizer. Crazy. Okay, anyway, so that was the name. Next thing. This course is going to launch on the 30th of October, 2016. That's in 30 days. So they know exactly, okay, this is when it launches. Now, then you want to say, when this course launches, it will be selling at the price point 6,997. You can share something about why that's absolutely worth it, all of these different things. And then next, you're basically going to share like what is, and here's the special, I want you to write this down. What is the pre-launch offer? So let me go back to that little page. You want to basically have a pre-launch special, pre-launch offer, something that they basically get. It's not bad. Thank you, Sharp. You're so kind. Is I need to hear. Oh, beautiful, good. So that you basically have a special offer, which is like the early bird pricing. And how many of you guys have ever seen this? Like when it comes to what do you say? When it comes to tickets for concerts, when it comes to like those people that are in the gaming arena, a lot of the time when there's a new game coming out or new PlayStation coming out, there's a whole pre-order thing. There's a lot as well, but with iPhones and gadgets, that there's like a pre-launch situation. So when you are then an early bird adopter, you can actually benefit from being an early bird by getting a special discount, a special price, and whatnot. So this is the same thing that you will want to do when it comes to you launching your pre-launch offer. So what I did is a special pre-launch offer of $2,000. So that's a saving of $5,000. And then I stood in front of the crowd. So I said, okay, so this launches on the 30th of October. But because you guys have been so super amazing, and I really want to really continue this working together with you guys, I'm going to make a pre-launch offer. And for those of you that are really excited to go and be part of the PPM, then you can make your way to the back and you can get access to all of this for only $2,000. And I stood like this. And I was like, okay, so you make your way to the back. And I stood like this. And it's like, it was so crazy because this was my first ever stage sell. So I was standing like this. And I couldn't believe it. Someone stood up. Someone stood up and made their way to the back. But obviously, I'm the speaker, so I couldn't be like, what? Somebody's standing up? I had to keep my cool. So I was like, I was so excited. And this person just went to the back, went to the team, and purchased my course for $2,000. And the course wasn't even created yet. And they knew that. I was mind blown. Because up to that point, like before I went into business, a couple of months before that, my salary at the university was roughly like 2,000 euros per month. And that's a decent salary. And it was allowing me to pay for my bills, look after a couple of things, and, make a living. But now it was a 90-minute presentation that I did that was actually helping people, that was actually giving people incredible aha moments. And it was so impactful that one person decided that they wanted more, and they paid. 90 minutes versus an entire month of hard work yielded the same amount of money. I was really, really, really happy at that moment. And for some of you listening to this, you might be like, "Oh, that's just 2,000. Like that's no big deal. You're talking about millions, right? Project 1 million." But for me, oh my gosh, that was a huge deal. Like, how many of you would think that's a huge deal? Like when you are selling your first 2,000 offer, and it's like, what? Someone is standing up. They're paying for it. And the weirdest thing was is that the course wasn't created yet. So guess what? Now is the moment that I was like, hey, I've tested the market. The market says yes, let's go and create it. So that's when then for the rest of that month, I didn't sleep much either because I was, creating that whole course, which was a whole story in itself. But that really, really, really made a huge impact to me because I realized not only that this was a really powerful way to just get things done, progress over perfection, and testing the market before even going to create, because now at least I had a buyer. So even if nobody else would want it, at least now I can go and create it, which obviously wasn't the case because a lot of people wanted it. But it was a beautiful situation because I now knew I have a buyer. So now I'm going to create those videos and the things and the modules and whatnot with those buyers in mind. And they were happy and they were excited and they were going to go through that. Now, I will tell you, that was not a fully smooth journey because there was still lots of learning happening and whatnot. But it was really, really incredible to me to see that I just had this 90-minute presentation and it was so valuable. And people truly, and this was the interesting part, people truly valued my knowledge. And that was crazy to me because at that point, like I valued this knowledge because I just learned it like the last 2.5 weeks before that. I was learning all of this stuff and I valued that knowledge. I was super motivated. And that's why I hardly slept to go and learn this stuff. But have you ever had it that you think like, okay, so, but probably the rest of the world all knows this, right? I'm just late to the game. And what is my knowledge even worth? It's just like, isn't everybody thinking this? Isn't everybody already knowing this? Like we sometimes think that common sense or the knowledge that has become common to you is common to everyone. And that's the part that's not true. Write that down. Write down. Common knowledge or common sense is not so common. But also that sometimes we think like, I'm just little me and I don't know about this or I don't know about that. But actually, the stuff that you do know can mean a complete transformation to someone else. And you don't know that until you actually share it. Like all the stuff that I'm sharing on Project 1 Million in 1 year, sometimes I'm just like, oh my goodness, am I not boring these guys? Isn't this too simple? Isn't this like too, I don't know, that isn't it like that? But actually, then I see the reactions and I see the impact that it has on people. And I realize that, hey, wait a second, it's not boring people because it's so normal for me. And I teach this every single day for the last 9 years. I sometimes question myself, like, is this not like common knowledge now? No, it's not. And you can make a huge impact in someone's life by sharing what is here. So I think that was one of the biggest things for me too, because oftentimes we just think, oh, I'm just little me. But actually, no, you're not. You've gone through things in life. You've learned things in life in a variety of different capacities, whether that's school, whether that's books, whether that's seminars, whether that's like life experiences that you've gone through, things you've overcome, that currently there are people out there that are going through the same things that you have already overcome, that they would love to know how you did it. They would love to know those things that are now common to you, but are not common to others. So the whole notion that the knowledge that I have actually mattered, that was the biggest breakthrough. Besides the fact that it was really cool to actually make money for my own thing for the first time ever was awesome too. But also the fact that people truly appreciated the knowledge that I could bring to the table. That was really eye-opening, and that it was not common knowledge to everybody. But then I was like, okay, cool. So I've just done that one presentation. Let's do it again. And this time, and it was a really interesting situation because then we had a retreat with our clients and we went to Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City, and we had this retreat with a lot of awesome high level clients, and we were talking about like a lot more digital marketing stuff. And then we said, okay, you know what, let's do the webinar challenge. And here's the funny thing, like the way how we like to work is that whenever we say clients do this, we're in the game right there with them, like leading by example. So I said, okay, clients, we're going to do this webinar challenge. Basically, we're all going to build a webinar, we're all going to go and close, and we're going to see who can make the most money. How about you? How do you guys like that? Say, yeah, let's do this. Okay, cool. So that was what we're going to do on that trip. And then I said, okay, I'm going to be right there with you. I'm going to make a webinar too. I'm going to also pitch, and then I'm going to just play the same game as you guys. And in the meantime, whilst I'm building mine, I'm helping you guys as well. It's like, okay, cool, let's do it. So then we had that whole webinar challenge, and my day was Thursday. And I remember I had it booked for 8 p.m. UK time because that was the place where we lived. But then now, obviously, we were in Vietnam. So it meant that in Vietnam time, it was like 3 a.m. in the morning, 4 a.m. in the morning, something like that. So the whole hotel was sleeping, and I was there in my dark room. It was very hot in Vietnam. It was in the middle of the, summery type of days. I think probably must have been in the September months then, because I did this pitch, and then this was the week after. And then I was just there in my room. I had written down everything that I did in that in-person pitch at that event. I just made it in a computer version. So I wrote down my stuff. I created some slides, and then I was in that room, and I was going to go and present it. And I can't remember whether or not I had my camera on. But I seem to think that I maybe didn't have my camera on. But whichever it is, like imagine, right? You're just sitting, like you're doing without the camera, but you're still making it super interactive, and you have your slides, and I'm just reading from a script. So I was doing that, but I can't remember, because maybe I did have my camera on, but I remember that it was very dark because it was in the middle of the night. Everybody's sleeping, and I was just there to do my webinar. But anyways, the webinar flew by. It took me around 2 hours. I finished the webinar, and I closed the computer. And the entire room was dark, and I was just sitting there like, and then my phone lit up. And I grabbed my phone. I looked at my Stripe account, and I couldn't believe what I saw. I had 2 sales, each $2,000 for the same darn course that I hadn't created yet. I was absolutely stunned at that point. Because 1 week before that, I had 1 client, which actually turned into 2 clients because of my mentor helping me with the second pitch, which was cool. So I had 2 clients at that point, and then I had 2 more clients. So 4 clients. Over 6,000, because I don't know what it was again. I think he did an auction close. So that person got it for an auction type of situation. So it was like 1,000. So I made 2,000. Then that person paid 1,000, so it was 3,000, and then 2 more of 2,000, so it was 7,000 in the space of a week for running a 90-minute, 2-hour presentation twice. I don't know about you guys, but that was usually that it would take me 3 months or more to get to that salary, and now I did it in a couple hours. And I did it in a way that was deeply meaningful for everyone that I spoke to. Because whether the people on the webinar all bought or not, that doesn't matter. I left them empowered. I gave them information that they could already start using. And those people that did buy, they were going to get an absolutely incredible course that I was still to make, but I knew it was going to be incredible. So I was so much more purposeful, and I made so much more money. Like, how many of you think that would be pretty awesome? That you have an ability to be able to be more impactful, and you make more money than your job ever could. Like, how many of you would be like, yes, that sounds pretty good to me? And it did sound good to me. But guess what happened? That day, I was doing it online, and I was recording the session. How many of you are thinking what I was thinking? I don't know if it's hitting with you guys yet. And then this is not like our usual situation on Zoom, so I can't see your faces. But if you're thinking what I'm thinking, I just recorded a webinar that was a selling webinar. And I could easily have people watch the recording and have the recording close them going forward. Now, little note to you guys, that doesn't always go as such, because having a live webinar or a recorded webinar, there's a different type of interaction. But we've had it so often that the replays of what we put together, or the recorded version of the webinars, or the recorded live simulated webinars, any of these forms, that they have made a massive impact, and we closed a lot of deals. So now I want to say this to you guys. Not only did I figure out that my knowledge actually mattered to people, not only did I have a tremendous amount of fun because I was doing something that I like, helping people with it, not only did I get 4 freaking clients in the space of a week and made $7,000 that normally I don't make in at least 3 months, 4 months, 3.5, something like that. I also had the ability to actually put the recording out there and have the recording do my work. Exactly, Tommy. Passive income. How many of you are having an aha moment? Now, mind you that again, it doesn't always exactly perform in the same way. But here's another thing, and we usually don't even speak about this at the Project 1 Million because we don't even get to this stuff. But even if you have that recorded video, and that recorded video, the webinar, does not sell, even if people just watch that recording and are super empowered from it, and then after them watching that recording, you just have a conversation. Most of the time, even when they were not ready to commit and take that step just from the recorded webinar, after they actually had a conversation with you on top of that, most people have more clarity and most people are then willing to take the step. So whether your webinar is directly converting or not, it adds to the value building, it adds to the relationship building, it adds to the trust building, it adds to the empowerment. And hence, and this is what you guys are going to learn on day number 5, it is such a powerful passive tool for maximum empowerment that will help you in making the conversions, whether it's directly right then and there or shortly thereafter. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is true power and true freedom. So, how many of you had an aha from this story? How many of you learned something? How many of you are excited to be able to reproduce this? Because this stuff really is incredible and it really makes an impact and it really works. Obviously, there's a thing or two that you have to learn to be able to make it work. Now, I gave you some pointers. I shared like some of the preparation, some of the stuff to mention. I gave a simple version of a pitch, but there's obviously a lot more to it. And that's also why I just want you to know that, again, this is not like, okay, this is it and boom, go and you have all the clarity straight away. But then again, what do I always say? You don't have to have all the clarity to just go out there and start implementing it, because you're going to learn more of it as you're implementing it. Does that make sense? But what I wanted to say, because I know a lot of you guys are watching this, are also my students. Ho ha, no, ho ha, I was saying hoo ha hoo, ho ha hoo. I'm getting crazy right now. So FLC students, you guys, I train absolutely step by step in all of this stuff. Everything. How do you speak to people one-on-one? How do you go and have the conversations? How do you run webinars? I even put my best webinar script, webinar template, a 10-hour instruction on how you can create and use those assets for making your own. It's all in there. It's all in DCA. Deal Closing Academy, that is. So for our students that really, really, really want to be able to just take this to another level, my advice is like, don't start with the webinars. Start with the way how I start as well, learning the skill of marketing and closing first, and apply it in a one-to-one situation. But understand where you're working towards, because at this very moment, we have everything in place. We got webinars in place, we got automated webinars in place, we got events in place, we got challenges in place, we got information systems, call bookings, whatever. We got so many different things in place that are all working side by side 24/7, even when I'm sleeping, that are constantly impacting people and that are allowing people to feel the energy, feel the spirit, and therefore all of that automation is not just automation, it is an energetic replica of me, of us as FLC. So it's not like, oh, it's an AI version of me. Like I very much have not opened up to AI yet. I stay far away from it. Maybe it's because I'm a little bit of a dinosaur, but I just love people's energy. Like there's something that people bring to the table that AI cannot do. Now, mind you, I love AI when it comes to putting captions on my video. Like that stuff is awesome. It's much faster than me putting the captions. But other than that, I just like people to feel my energy. And truth be told, it helps in people feeling the authenticity of things. So that's my own reasoning. Maybe I'll change. Maybe you guys change my mind. I should do more with AI. But I just love people way too much for liking all of that robot stuff at this moment. So with what we do and the way how we train is not to say like, okay, I'm going to close off. Always keep an open mind. I always have to keep an open mind. But I do think the most important thing is that you keep that essence of you, your authenticity in it, and allow that authenticity to be captured in an energetic replica that is out there helping you, supporting you in reaching so many people, so that then the moment where you are going to have the conversations with them, all of that beautiful relationship and rapport is already built. And it makes the conversation so much deeper, so much more impactful, and so much more powerful. So I hope that has helped. I want to again give a shout out to everybody that is here. I also want to give a shout out to everybody that will be watching the replay. And I hope that this video was, impactful to you guys, because this whole story gave me one of my biggest aha moments in my life. And that's why I love telling it. But I also know that it took 50 minutes to do it. So that's why in the event today, I didn't have enough time because I was already over delivering so much. So that's why it's all here. But yeah, I really want you guys to know this stuff, and I want you to understand that business is much more simple than you think. So guys, just go out there, do this, get yourself out there. And for anybody watching this and you're not part of our students, you want to know more about it, apply. Go message me, say, hey, I want to work with you guys. I want to find a way. Go and do that. And then we'll find a way to help you, to support you. And yeah, and then we can just be there by your side. But other than that, if this video was beneficial to you, please feel free to give it a like. Also, if you thought that, this kind of videos are awesome, then feel free to subscribe, hit the bell button so you'll be notified every single time I go live. And I make videos every single day, or I try to at least. And if I don't, hold me accountable. And if you think that this video may actually benefit people, please share it. Copy the link, post it on your Facebook, your other platforms, wherever you're active, because the more people that know this stuff, the better it will be. And it's just going to allow this world to become a better place, because the more people become free, the more or the less negative control people can negatively control us. And I think that's a good thing. So yeah, that's it. Let me go over some comments. Thank you so much, Tommy. He says, great session as usual. Shwarup is saying, Tjibaria, I request you to please show some tough love as a mentor towards me. I have lost months due to my stupid mindset and excuses. So let me just say this to you. I appreciate this. I really do. At the same time, you have to be open to the tough love or the things that we do. And we send you messages so often, emails, we post things in the group, and I really want now ask the accountability then for you to make sure that you get all of those emails, make sure you turn on your notifications, make sure you check all of the activity that we're putting out there, so that then you actually have the ability to go and take all of this stuff in. Because like we are super visible and we are messaging on a constant basis, but you have to also take that in there. Does that make sense? And utilize it. And also know this, as much as I am your mentor and I'm holding you accountable and I'm going to do that, I also want you to know that you have the power within you as well to do self-accountability too. Does that make sense? It's really important to know that too. But yes, consider it done, Shwarup. And I'm very happy that you are there today on the session, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And I want you to send me your video that you have launched today. And I want to say hi, Corey, Corinna, that is. Corinna, I think I've just heard of some news that you're part of the family. So I just want to say welcome to the family. I'm so excited to be working with you. You're so amazing, and I'm just really over the moon. I'm also going to say this to Tommy. Tommy, you are too incredible, and I want to work with you. And I'm not going to take no for an answer. So if you haven't yet applied for a scholarship, apply for it. I'm not going to share this link on this video because this is the worldwide YouTube, but the link is inside of the Telegram chat. So go ahead and apply there because I want to work with you. Let me see. Marcena, yes, Marcena, you're super amazing. I'm so proud of you as well. Vanessa, I'm so proud of you. Like a lot of these people right here are my students. Really, really proud. And I think everybody else that is on here. Oh, Blagofesta. Oh, Blagofesta. Also, welcome to the family. I'm so excited to be working with you. Not sure if she's still on, but she was on earlier. I'm just scrolling through the notes, to the comments. But yeah, on that note, I'm going to go. Have a beautiful rest of your day. And I'm so, so, so excited for all of you guys to take your lives, your freedom, and your dreams to a whole another level. Yes, Tommy, I love this, Karina. Let's do it. Come on, Tommy. All right, have a beautiful rest of your day, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and implement. All right, see you guys tomorrow. Bye.